Hello and welcome back to another FPL captaincy video where we go through all of the stats that you could possibly need to decide the best captaincy for each game week. Last week we unfortunately had a bit of a disappointment with Cole Palmer. It was our first disappointment since Cole Palmer in game week 22 and he only picked up a 6-pointer. Obviously we've had a really good run going with Mohamed Salah for weeks on end. Obviously we've had an Isak pick in there as well, but what you will notice is since game week 12 every single captain that we have picked has been a success outside of 3 times that we've picked Cole Palmer. So whether he gets picked again for the rest of the season, we will wait and see. But the stats were very much favouring Cole Palmer last week, and obviously Salah didn't do that great either. It would have ended up with a green choice there with him picking up a 12-pointer as captain, but he also only outscored Palmer by 3 points. So it wasn't the end of the world. We didn't get absolutely killed after thinking we would have after Palmer obviously blanked against Southampton. So we are going to take a look at 4 more picks this week and let's jump straight into it. Make sure you do like the video if you end up enjoying it, or this does help you decide your captain in any way, and of course subscribe because we do these every single week and try to build up a nice little streak. But this week of course we have Salah, of course we have Palmer again, the 2 very obvious captaincy choices this week, both playing at home to the teams in the relegation zone in Southampton and Leicester. Our other 2 picks this week is going to be Alexander Isak, obviously a little bit of injury worries for him, but we are going to include him just in case he does of course play. He's playing against West Ham away from home. And then our 4th pick is going to be Chris Wood. He's at home to Manchester City, not really too many other options available, so I thought we might as well go for one of the most informed strikers in the league this season. Now this could decide your captaincy straight off the bat, but by predicted points, Salah's are nearly off the screen. He's got 10.8 predicted points on FPL team for his game against Southampton, which is one of the highest that we will see all season. 9.8 on Fantasy Football Hub as well, which does still blow anyone else out the water. You know, over 2 expected points more than Cole Palmer, who is obviously looking like the 2nd best captaincy option so far based on the predicted points this week. It is a bit of a a downward slope in the captains, so if you are looking for a 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th place just from predicted points, it's basically in order for you there. Chris Wood isn't expected to do too well this week. He's only got 3.8 predicted points on FPL team, which is I think actually the lowest we have seen all season for one of our captaincy picks, so that is just something to keep in mind. As far as expected minutes goes, of course 90 for Salah and Palmer despite playing midweek, and Isak still got 87 expected minutes, so even though he has picked up that injury, he is still expected to play the majority of the match. Of course the Carabao Cup final is coming up as well, so there is possibilities, especially with Callum Wilson back, that he does get an early substitute. When it comes to XG, Salah's obviously leading the way as you would expect, 25 goals and 17 assists so far this season, despite his expected assists being almost 3 times lower than his actual assists. Again, you can see the likes of Cole Palmer, who is leading him in expected assists and has less than half the amount of assists that Salah has picked up this season. In terms of return chances, however, Salah has almost an 80% chance of picking up at least 1 return this week, so it's looking really nice for him. Palmer still almost at the 70 mark with a 69% chance, the same with Isak at 65, and Chris Wood is actually a lot lower. I think that is the lowest return chance we've seen all season as well, with him down at 45%. Salah is also taking the clean sweep when it comes to odds. He has a 62% chance of scoring at least 1 goal against Southampton and a 28% chance of scoring 2 or more. They only have a 4% chance of a clean sheet this week, so there is a lot of expectation for Liverpool to bag a few goals this week. However, Palmer isn't too far behind, still got a 58% chance of scoring despite his recent poor form, 22% chance of picking up 2 or more goals, and again Leicester with a very low chance of a clean sheet at only 7%. Again, a little bit more lower, not up there with the other 2. Isak at 40%, Chris Wood at 33%, and the clean sheet odds are a lot higher for the likes of West Ham and Manchester City. West Ham obviously playing at home have a 22% chance of a clean sheet, and even though they are playing away from home, Man City do still have a 30% chance. Set pieces wise, of course, always 4 penalty takers on the list. Palmer does have the first advantage of the video so far over Mohamed Salah, also having the free kicks and the corners, but obviously that isn't going to make a huge difference because we don't expect, free kicks and corners to, give returns every single game week, but it does obviously provide an advantage. Everyone else is just on their penalties for the respective teams. Chris Wood obviously wasn't listed as a penalty taker at the start of the season, but Forest have had 3 penalties so far this season and he's scored all 3, so he is pretty much locked in for that one. As far as rest goes, of course, Isak and Wood, both without European football, means they have had a full week's rest since last week's cup matches. Cole Palmer and Salah, on the other hand, one in the Champions League, one in the Conference League. Salah obviously playing against PSG on Wednesday, which was last night. He gets subbed about the 83rd minute, I want to say, for Harvey Elliott, who ended up scoring the winning goal. So he gets 2 days rest before playing against Southampton on Saturday. Cole Palmer obviously haven't had to worry about European football for him so far, but with them now into the knockout stages, he has been included in the squad, and I would be expecting him to get some minutes for the European matches going forward. He also has 2 days rest before playing against Leicester on Sunday, so if you do focus too much on the rest, of course Isak has more than a full week with Newcastle's game in the cup being last Sunday. They don't play it until Monday night, which is going to be over a week's rest. However, it is away from home, so that does give him a slight disadvantage in there. Chris Wood's playing on Saturday against Man City. Chances wise, we do have a couple of dodgy defences in here. Starting off with Southampton, they are the worst defence for expected goals conceded in the league so far this season. They have 62.8 expected goals conceded, and again you can see Leicester just below, they're third worst and they have a 50.9 expected goals conceded. Now I want to say it's Ipswich that are in between them both in second place, and I think they've got about 51 expected goals conceded, so that does show you how poor the Southampton defence is, with over 10 more expected goals conceded than anyone else in the league. Obviously when it comes to actual goals conceded, they are, similar to the likes of Leicester and Ipswich with 65. When it comes to chances conceded, Southampton do have the most down the middle with 231. Brentford are in at second place, I think at 215, and then it will be Leicester with 205. As chances down the wings are concerned, it's not actually that bad for Southampton. There is obviously a lot worse. You can see West Ham, for example, have conceded more chances down Salah's side than Southampton have. I don't think that is going to make a huge difference for someone like Salah, who obviously cuts inside and then can make a lot of chances through the middle, but it is just something to keep in mind. Maybe if you wanted to take a punt on someone this week, maybe Darwin Núñez or Jota or Diaz, whoever plays up front for Liverpool, could make a really good pick this week with them. So could make a really good pick this week with them being so weak centrally. I think in general we do have a lot of good picks. For example, Salah, Palmer and Isak are all up against defences in the worst 6 in the league so far, but again, Salah being the most informed player in the league up against the worst defence in the league does make things a lot easier when deciding a captain. And it's for that reason we are going back to Mohamed Salah this week as our captain. Again, very obvious based on how the stats have went so far in this video. The highest expected points on both sides by a large margin as well. Has the highest return chance of 77%. He has the biggest goal odds with 62%. And as I said, he is the most informed player in the entire league this season. And he is playing against the worst defence by a large margin as well in the league this season as well, sitting bottom of the league. He scored 2 goals in the reverse fixture when they played away from home, which picked him up a 13-pointer, so you could definitely expect more than that now that they're playing at Anfield at home. So Salah is going to be the choice. I don't think many of you will disagree with that. If you do, let me know in the comments. Are you going for someone a little bit more differential? Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.